And I'd like to welcome all of you to the Cornerstone Village Community Association monthly meeting, November 16th. Thanks for coming here and taking the time out of your Saturday morning to be with us here. I'm Jim Grenwick. I'm the president of Cornerstone Village. Cookie is the secretary. John Schultz is not here. He's away, but he's the treasurer. And we have a member of our board of directors also, Christine Kodish, is here with us as well. And we'd like to also acknowledge we have from the 5th Precinct, Commander Ewing and Captain Gardner from the 5th Precinct. So this is the opportunity, face-to-face, no callbacks, no busy signals, no deletes, whatever. So you could just bring your concerns to them. And also we have Donnie Wright from the BC. From what? BC. Building Safety. Building Safety, yeah, BSEED. Now that stands Building Safety Engineering and Environmental Department. You got it right. And so he's an inspector there, and this is an important question. We have been expecting some others. We expect Andre Spivey to be here, Councilman Spivey, Levy Azar, and Paul Fayad from the Sports Center. This morning in our meeting, we are privileged to have James Ribbron, who has the energy and the techno to place us onto we're going to be videoing, so that with the intention that those who are not here be a click and view for our community meeting. So I thank you for taking the time and energy to do that. We had a call to action across the street from James a couple weeks ago, and I think it was resolved. We sealed up the back door, which is my super seal technique, and we screwed back sheds shut. What do we do? We
windows.
The windows, we put nice window treatments, you know, I even painted them, okay, so it doesn't look too tacky, you know, and chain fence. So we treat things as we see them, as they come up, as we are able to do so. And today, if there's one of the neighborhood police officers is available after the meeting, there's two houses we'd like to address on Old Town, 6185 and 93. That we want to reattach the side door, seal the side door, and screw the front door shut on the other one. So I'm prepared to do that immediately. Ooh. And this is a side note. I'm in kind of pain. I have a tooth that is, I don't want to say it, but anyway, a tooth that is going to come out. I'm standing here under duress. So I can't do it right after the meeting because the dentist told me he would meet me at his office. So I'll just pop over there later. Yes. So we'd like to get on. Each of you maybe have a copy of our agenda, so you can follow along with us. And
please let me know now.
And what would you like to do? All right. And of course, this is the boundaries of Cornerstone Village. It goes right up here. And you can see that's a pretty good group. There's like, should be about 4,100 residents. Should be close to 2,700 buildings, 7 churches. There's a couple business corridors. We have the Warren corridor and also the Mack corridor, and also the Harper corridor. Where did Harper go? There's Harper, Chester. So there's a lot to cover, and many concerns that do come up in this area. We treat them on a priority basis. What is a priority basis? Whoever can call me the first, call Cookie, or in that vein. Now, but along that line, our mission statement, before we get there, our financial statement is we have $380, and in our account, we just I think about 6 weeks ago, in July, boarded up 43 open doors. And we have a contractor that works with us. The city provides the boards and he put them up. And so it was worked out real well, and he does a nice job. We don't do form-fitting cosmetic implants of doors. We take the sheet and put it over the whole door, screw it into the cement around it. It's much more effective. It doesn't lend itself to being broken into. And residents along the streets, Woodhull, Guilford, and the like, will give me a call and say, Jim, this one was kicked in, and so Rose and I will go over and address it as we can. So we're looking for donations. That's what I said. Boarding costs money. We spent some on it, and this is what we have left. We're, I don't know how to address it. We want to have some committee chairman. I like the word. That is really over the top. Big, loaded word, committee. Just have someone be interested in helping us to raise funds. Let's put it that way, right? And it can be on a very casual basis. We do have some outlets that will help us. Commercial, like the Papa John's and the like, will help us, and we've done some in the past. But someone to coordinate it. Of course, I work with everybody who will work with us on that. There's some other. There might be a garden person. There might be just a person who's involved with the policing of the area in terms of the MEC patrol. Which I have a shirt on. We're members of the MEC. We did patrolling on the film on the Hill this last week. I got to meet the new officer over there. We had this light going, and he's looking at us, and we're looking at him. We drive by, and says, "Hello, officer." He says, "We got that guy there for you." So I says, "Well, we're the MEC patrol, and we thank you." I told him, "Thank you for being here. We'll be here for the hours." And so there's 3 of us, 3 cars out. So we had a nice job. We just drove around, and I think that it lends an attitude of a little bit of peace for the people who are on the hill watching the film, because the cars are lined up Chandler Park, down Canyon, and they see that somebody's looking at it. And as opposed to, is my car going to be there when I get back? So, or is it going to be broken in? So we drove around for a couple hours and
This is for
completed
the,
it.
did you say for the film on the hill?
For the film on the hill.
Oh, we gotta give kudos to the commander and the captain.
Yes.
Because they did have their
Right.
officers out, so thank you guys, we appreciate that.
I got to meet the officers. You know, it was good duty. We are currently, this is September. And Michelle, we only have a few residents here, but for those watching, this is a nomination form for president, secretary, and treasurer. I'm going to hand it out right now, and if there's a person you want to nominate for it, you can nominate myself, Cookie, and John Schultz. There may be someone else who has an intention.
Yeah,
Or you can hand them out. Okay. This is as we go on here, the mission statement of Cornerstone Village is safety, beauty, and harmony. So we have 3 things that we apply our attention and our energies to, and that is, we want people to be safe, we want people to beautify their surroundings, their street, wherever they live, as much as possible, and we want people to live together in peace. So if we do that, we have an attractive community, and people will move here. To the end, that as I say, there's 2 questions that I have to answer to myself every day, and I think others would do the same. And that is, why would you want to stay living here? And the other question is, why would anybody want to move here? So you want to answer these both questions in a positive fashion. You have to give reasons to answer yes. I want to stay here because. In fact, I heard it during the week and the like, and we may even go around and put people on the spot. Why do you want to stay? You know, so I'm staying, okay? And you see, well, we'll talk about it later. Okay, we keep going here. We keep on going. And how do we create the safety, beauty, and harmony? My intention is to empower the residents, and we do this through accessing the resources that are currently available to us. And there may be street sign down, light out, sewer clogged, could be, who knows, many other things. There could be a young gang of young guys who hang around a certain area, a certain house, and in the like. And so want to address these things, so the quality of life, so you can let your kids play in the street or in the front, and even though you may observe them, you don't feel like you're threatened or intimidated. There may be basketball hoops in the street, and there's maybe what's that word? Variance. There may be a variance, like there's maybe a judgment call. I mean, this may put myself on the spot, but the point is, if I just see 13-year-old, 14-year-old guys, and maybe they're shooting hoops and polite, I drive by and they don't flip me off or make vulgar gestures and let me pass, then we're good. God bless them. I mean, it's a ways over. Maybe they can't get to the park at Marquette or over here. Okay, young guys may not. The parents don't let them go that far. Okay, that's the way I see it. So, but if there's guys 18, 25, it's not going to work. Okay, we got a situation on Old Town there. Hoop is out, been out for a long time, and called in. So there's, safety, beauty, and harmony, right? They have to be together in peace. Now on the take this out here, start we communicate with each other and let us each other know through the nextdoor.com. And I ensure, or want to encourage everyone, everyone to subscribe to it. And residents, it's an address verified neighborhood blog. Yeah, okay. And so that you sign up, send you a postcard, put in the code, or someone recommends you and invites you. Okay, are you on it?
I'm not,
Okay.
I want to be.
Yeah, just sign up, quick
Yeah, put my email on there.
Yeah, and she'll send you an invitation.
Okay.
That's the quickest way. We have DPD Connect. DPD Connect is, there's a police issue. It's a phone app. Have it? Yeah.
I don't.
Wow, it's an educational forum. I use it. The DPD Connect is going to look like that. DPD Connect. It's a free app. And if there's a police issue, you can put in there. It's going to ask you what it is, maybe describe it, and the like. This is part of empowerment. And that is Improve Detroit. Okay. Is everybody who does not have Improve Detroit on their phone? Okay, good. Improve Detroit looks like that. And we just had a issue, house next door to me. I don't know how, but we take care of it. And I'm walking. I see a little moisture on the driveway. Oh no. The water is leaking in the basement. Okay. And it probably was leaking down the drain, but some kind of paper or something maybe got over the drain. We had 8 feet of water in the basement. So I have a stethoscope. I go to the, oh yeah, it's bad. So anyway, they came out one day later and turned off the water. So this helps. And so I'm thinking how I'm going to get in the house and then go through the side door and put a siphon hose to the drain. May take time, but it will go down. The empowerment. We do what we can with what we have in a legal and orderly fashion. Cool. We have a number of speakers here really to address us and give us some really good information and help our lives to improve and give us the opportunity to have channels of access to improvement for where you're at. Also, before I stop talking, and there's an attitude that a person has to have of, I call it passion. With your neighborhood, you want to follow your passion. Not everybody has the same passion for them. Maybe it's just to work right in front of your house, and that's fine, God bless them. But it might be cut the grass all the way in back. I see it over there. Man, that's a lot of grass to cut. But the point is, you follow your passion. I live here and I want it to look good, okay? So be it. So you take care of it. Like in my street, everybody's on the payroll. I got a bunch of young guys, and they want to cut their grass, rake the leaves, clean stuff. God bless them, you know. It's good. It's a fun thing. Now I'm paying them with little blink lights. Okay, that's it. It's a deal for me. So I can buy them $1.50 and I get $5 worth of grass cutting. So I got little blink lights. They want blink lights on their bikes. Jim, you got anything for me to do? Because he wants to go to a bike shop and get a blink light. So I bought a bunch of blink lights. So we have some fun. Then you did. Your passion, you follow the passion where you live. Now Jim, I know Jim, he will go by and you cut the grass places, right? You just will weed whack places. He uses it for a living, but it's kind of a charity thing where it's walking down the street, but this has got to go. This has to go. I can't see this anymore. So once it's down, it stays down easier than coming down from 3 feet. Okay, this is where we're going with this. Okay, that's the idea of passion. That's it. Tim's on the board of directors. See this? Hold that sign up now. This is Rosie, this is my wife, this is a hammer. Okay, so, we're going to have our guest speakers, and I'm really very humbled to have Commander here, Captain here, Letitia, Andre Spivey, Donnie Wright, and I didn't miss anyone, but have them here. This is the Chief of the Zoning Board, Mr. Ribron. So I'm really humbled to have you here to address our Cornerstone Village. And with that, I would stay right. Oh, look at it. Donnie Wright, please introduce yourself to us.
Thank you, Mr. Graham.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, folks. My name is Donnie Wright, here on behalf of the City of Detroit Building and Safety Department. First of all, I'd like to thank Cookie and Cornerstone Village Department or organization for taking time out to invite me here to just to address you guys, introduce myself. I'd like to first ask, did everyone get a tool? One of my business cards here. This is your tool. If you did not get one of these tools, please do so. Okay. And the reason why I call this a tool is because you guys are trying to build your community. And in order for you to be able to build your community, you need some necessary tools to do so. I'm the one you call in case of there's an issue with the building, with the property, or with the structure that's out there. Okay. What we do is it's very limited, but then it's broad at the same time. If you have an issue with a property that's open, that's vacant, or one of the neighbors that aren't maintaining their property in the proper way and that type of thing, you call me out. If there's a property, a building that's dangerous, something that can be a hazard, anything in that nature, I'm the one you call. If there's an issue with a neighbor who has dogs, who's making a lot of noise and that type of thing, I won't be handling that particular complaint. But if you're unsure about who to call, you can call me, and then I'll direct you to the proper persons to be able to get that particular complaint taken care of. I won't take up a lot of your time this morning, but I just wanted to be able to introduce myself. I'm here today to be able to be that extension of your community development so that you guys can continue to grow and continue to be able to keep Cornerstone Village as strong as you guys are trying to be and the way that you guys once were and where you're going in the future. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate your time.
I'd like to extend another thank you, forgive me for interrupting,
Yeah.
for you saying Cornerstone Village and not just Cornerstone. I got to give that shout out.
The fine is $1 if you say village. So, I'm saying it. Donnie actually responds, okay? No, it's, sometimes the workload can be so heavy and there may be few inspectors, but I think we have some additions and Donnie's good additions to actually respond to a few that that called me and said, thank you for turning me on to Mr. Wright. Paul Fayad, from the Eastside Youth Soccer Foundation, is going to be with us today, isn't he? And I'd like to have Councilman Spivey, please come and share with us development items that you see.
Hey, all right.
Good morning, Cornerstone Village.
Thank you.
$100 give you, Jim. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you all. Just a few quick updates. I was coming with friends today. They need to push their time back. Those friends are Mayor Scars from Grosse Pointe City and the gentleman who owns the public storage facility on Mack Avenue. They're doing some expansion, but they're going to come in October instead of September, so we'll come back for then, Jim. But for some developers here in Cornerstone Village, let me start at the Mack end. There will be on the side of our border, a new police station where the Algiers liquor store is located. That will be demolished, as well as the house behind that place, and made the Grosse Pointe City Police Station. We're glad across the street. The Trolley's location is a green light, will be a green light location along Mack Avenue. Further down, the Starbucks will be done in about a month's time. I did speak with Jim about an employment training opportunity. We're going to hire people in Cornerstone Village to work there. We're going to hire about 50 or 60 people, part-time employees, some full-time, at the Starbucks come beginning of this year. Next door to that, as I just said, the public storage has bought the old Trinity bus station there. They're going to erect a four-story storage facility with retail at the bottom. Behind them, where the St. John record facility was, Grosse Pointe City bought that for their DPW yard. And so there's going to be a different turnaround there. That's part of Cornerstone. That's why we're going to bring them here to speak with you before the project begins. Further down Mack Avenue, Mr. Rip Brown reached out to me about a project at the National Coney Island. They want to demolish a home behind them for more parking, which is a good thing because that means people are utilizing our area here in Cornerstone Village. Moving up to Bald Duck Park, the council approved a grant we call the Boulder Grant. And so we're going to purchase large boulders to go around Bald Duck Park so cars can no longer drive on the grass at Bald Duck Park. That's coming real soon. And we have a group, the Jenkins Construction Group, who've done a lot of projects from Comerica Park to Ford Field, doing a little bit with the new arena now. They want to do infill housing in Cornerstone, meaning rehab present homes or new construction. And they too will be hiring Detroiters, particularly in District 4 and Cornerstone Village. And then lastly, before I take a few questions, we're having two events actually. One, the I-94 corridor expansion project, September 28th at 6 p.m. at Wayne County Community College, 6 p.m. September 28th. And then October 10th, we're partnering with Jackie Grant for a foreclosure prevention workshop. Same place, 6 p.m., October 10th, Wayne County Community College. We back up on the I-94 project. That project will begin in 2 years. It's a 20-year project. And so from I-96 all the way to Connor will be a 20-year project. Every single bridge, except for the one that's already done, Woodward Bridge and Van Dyke, will be taken down. Every single bridge. They will widen some lanes to 4. Both surface drives will have access all the way from 96 to Connor. The Connor interchange, the Gratiot interchange, The Lodge 75 interchange will all be different. You will be not just circling around and get confused where you ought to go. District 4 is the first segment that will begin in 2019, almost 2020. And so we're starting early to get people trained for the jobs that are coming. So please come out on the 28th of September for that workshop. You can see all the maps, what they're going to change, how it's going to be laid out. The walls along I-94 will be a little more, I guess I could put this a little further back and higher for full access lane on the side if your car breaks down. And so you want to see this, and you might want to tell folk who are interested in that the opportunity for job training. And I think that's all. Other than lastly, we said Commander Ewing issue about your northern border, the Bob's Lounge and Nightclub, on Moraine and Harper, so they can take a look at that. And I think that's all I have, Jim, as far as updates. I'll take any questions that you all may have regarding Cornerstone, but or anything else. Brother Rick Brown?
If we're talking about doing reconstruction on 94, can we possibly consider getting the blue highway signs at Cashew and 94 and Harper and 94 that talk about gas stations,
Yes.
the hospital, you know?
Yeah.
We don't have anything like that in Detroit, but I think
stops
that,
at 8 Mile. You're right. You're right.
We got businesses that can be supported on Cashew and Harper, and I think that blue sign
Yep, I agree.
is something that we should have at Harper and Cashew.
When we had our initial meeting, Brother Rick Brown, we mentioned that to the people at the I-94 corridor, their offices in New Center area. We mentioned that.
Okay.
Actually going both ways.
Right.
East and west. So yeah, we'll bring it up at the meeting on the 28th as well. I think
Okay,
it's a great
and
suggestion.
I'll be there
Yeah.
also
Yes, sir.
to raise that.
And you bring it up, anyone else, they can keep
Okay.
hearing that. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
A recap on the workshop for the 28th.
Yeah, 6 p.m. at Wayne County Community College on I-94 in Compton. And at that workshop, they will make a presentation or presentations, and they will also have all the drawings of what I-94 will look like from I-96 all the way to Connor. And you can make your suggestions. So for instance, when you come, if we're going west on Connor, and you can get off and make a right and go toward Harper, or you can go across Connor and go south on Connor, or the folk coming from Harper almost hit you when you're coming across, all that's going to change. And when you're going east or west on I-94 trying to go to Lodge Freeway, no longer the left lane to get onto the Lodge Freeway. You're going to go on the right-hand side and come around like you do on I-75. So all that's going to be changed. Yeah. I have
Did
something.
you say that police precinct is going to be, that on Matt, what did you say? Something about a police station?
Oh, that's the Grosse Pointe station, but it's on your border at the Algiers liquor store, 2 blocks north of Cashew. It's going to be demolished.
At Blue Hill.
Thank you, Blue Hill. And then police stations there, they're going to demolish a home behind, it's not on our property, but just let you know, it's going to be on the Grosse Pointe border. And then one more thing, I'm sorry. We approved a $54 million contract for improvement to our water system. District 1 and District 4 are the pilot areas. Your area is the area for District 4. So you all got a lot of stuff going. You're going to be jumping going in the Cornerstone building. So your area is the area that will be the pilot for District 4, and that will begin probably in the spring when the weather breaks. So District 1 in Rosedale Park and District 4 in Cornerstone Village. Representative?
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
2 things. Representative Betty Cook-Scott, I am happy. Now, 94 expansion was supposed to take place when Bernard Parker, most of you all remember, was the commissioner. And the problem at that time was there was a panic on both sides of the freeway because it was supposed to be widened and those people were afraid about their homes. Okay, so hopefully you all have taken care of that, or you will make that announcement to them that it's not going to affect them and their homes. Okay, and also you spoke about, and the RTA, are they still involved because they were part of that expansion?
The RTA did not come up in our initial meeting with MDOT. And then on your first point, Representative, there will be no homes taken away on either side. The widening will only occur down below in the freeway and cut off some of the grass areas that are
And you
existing.
said for safety, that's,
Yes, ma'am.
that's
Yes, ma'am.
a good idea.
Yep.
And I'm happy that it's going to come from downtown all the way to Connor. It was supposed to come all the way up to Maross, but things change. Okay, those who live in precinct 412, you can tell them about that. The city is going to order up 200 homes.
That is the Border Brigade.
Yes, Border Brigade.
Brad Dick, who lives in District 4, who's over General Services, is in charge of that. And I don't know a specific area, but we will have
412.
large, massive board ups. And we are also asking, we have a number of employees who are returning citizens. Just left Yorkshire Woods, and they have Mission Department of Corrections today with them, about 35 people who are cleaning up Yorkshire Woods. So that project there, the board will be with returning citizens, putting them to work. Yes, ma'am.
Right, and they started in certain precincts. When I say precinct, they're voting
Precincts, yes.
When I was on the police department, they were census area. Okay, and auto repair 3411, Audubon. In the state, I've been getting complaints, and it started in January, and it's still there. 3411, Audubon across from St. Clair Mountain South, it's a private home, and they say they're doing auto repair. And they said that it's a red Jeep truck that's been there for about a week with a broken headlight. They move it from side to side, so I want you in the city of
We've given that to one of your colleagues in DC. 3411. We've given that to one of his colleagues in DC.
Okay, across
Take a
from
look at
St.
that.
Clair
Yeah.
Mountain South.
It's a long ranch house on that. We gave that to one of his colleagues in DC. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that was the part about the bordering up, and I can save the others for announcement. You mentioned the date of September 20th?
28th,
Oh, it's
6 p.m. for the I-94 corridor project of WC3D.
Okay, and that's just one of their,
That's the meeting for
Community
District 4
engagement.
because that's our District 4, so we're the first segment. They're going to have numerous meetings throughout the city of Detroit. Yes, ma'am.
okay, that's
Are
good.
they going to announce that in some form?
Get some kind of.
The 28th meeting?
Uh-huh.
The 28th meeting is our meeting, District 4. Anyone can come.
Oh, is that our?
But it's the D4 meeting, they're gonna have their own, they have to mandate, I'm sure mandated meeting with state dollars.
Yes, so-
They have mandated, that's just for us in District 4 because we're the first segment.
Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
So we've been having information, we can publish it on the
Sure,
next
yeah. So it's on our website, DetroitD4.com. Letitia?
Quick question, in regards to the I-94 expansion, has there been any discussion about the speed limit changing on 94?
Not to my knowledge. And those are questions that you all can ask. They're gonna have a number of experts there, questions you can ask them, but I don't think it's already high anyway. But we can ask them when we get there toward the end.
The
Yeah.
state have changed it to 7.
Yeah, certain areas, 70, 80, I think, in some areas. I'll take one more and then I'll let you. Yes, sir.
You spoke about Jenkins Construction and maybe doing some things
Yes,
for
sir.
housing. Can you expand on that?
Yes, they're partnered with Flagstar Bank, and they have driven through Cornerstone Village, I just left Yorkshire, Cornerstone Village, and they see some potential growth in this area here, particularly where our border is, and there are some homes that can be saved in Cornerstone Village. They're looking between Mac and Chandler Park, Mac and Chandler Park mainly, do some infill housing, and they want to hire some Detroiters, put them to work, and hopefully move some residents into the area. So as we get, it's infancy stage right now. As we get more, I'll let Jim know so you all can be notified, so you don't just see folk coming in the neighborhood building and renovating homes and not know who they are.
So it's mostly rebuilding, not new construction?
It depends. If there's a vacant lot next to a home where they are doing a rehab, they're considering putting a new constructed home there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then to my left is Keisha McKinney. She's one of our we changed her role, one of our community relations. So if I'm not here, you'll see her. And a good thing, yes ma'am, I got it. The good thing is we have a number of new block clubs. They're meeting at the same time all the time. So right now, Maple Ridge is meeting. And after this is Alta Road or someone else. So if I'm not here, a staff person will be here, and Jim knows how to find me. So thank you all for having me today, and I'll be around to the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'd like to have Commander Ewing and Captain Gardner. Okay. Captain Gardner?
Okay.
Captain
Good morning.
Gardner,
Good morning.
please introduce yourself. And
Yes, Captain Gardner with the 5th Precinct. Just getting back off of a nice vacation. My boss did an excellent job filling in my spot while I was gone. The good thing is, right now, our crime is still down for the 5th precinct, which is a really good thing for us. And I think it goes back to what was stated earlier when we talk about empowering our residents, and then you all accepting that empowerment, you know, and working together, collaborating together, getting the resources out to, one, make sure that we are target hardening our homes, our businesses and alike. So when we have that, that's what helps keep those crime stats down. So kudos to you all for an excellent job in partnering with one another and communicating effectively areas of concern. We are moving forward with some events that are coming up. As you know, we have coming up the Halloween Task Force, and the 5th Precinct does a really good job of supporting and getting out there during the Halloween time. We will have a float that'll be out, and hopefully you all can take part in that. Also, let me digress for a minute. We also have vehicle etching today at the 5th Precinct from 11 to 2. And just to give you a little bit of a backup on why it's important to get vehicle etching, when you have that on your vehicle, it's again another form of target hardening your property. And when they see that if someone who wants to vandalize your vehicle or steal parts from your vehicle, when you have that etching done, it's harder for them to be able to go back out and sell that portion of your vehicle, whether it be your windshield or things of that nature. So definitely get the word out to your residents to take advantage of that free service that we will be providing. And I think I've kind of hit on it. I'll just open the floor for any questions or concerns.
FYI, that information is on Nextdoor, so those who have Nextdoor, you'll see that the vehicle thing is on there. Also, I wanted to ask you, Commander, about the ComStats. When are the meetings?
So we have one this coming Tuesday, and thank you for my promotion. See, seeing in the future, you all.
Right.
So I believe it's this coming Tuesday, is that correct?
So the concept meeting is coming Tuesday. It's actually closed meeting.
Yes,
That
but
one's closed.
if I can, we want to send a representative from Cornerstone Village to attend the meetings. Can you? I guess I can ask.
Yeah, you can. When you come in, you have to sign a waiver. Because a lot of information given out there is confidential. We can't have a different person every time showing up.
I understand. So Jim, I guess Jim will be
I'm not potential, but I think
delegating somebody.
Monique will be attending this.
I would love to.
Thank you.
So, if I could, two things. One, the Police Community Summit is coming up again this coming Saturday, next Saturday, actually, the 23rd. Cookie and Mr. Ribbrown have both been participants of that. I think it's a great thing for anyone who wants to attend. Briefly, let me just tell you what it's about. It's a chance to get the police and the community together to talk about issues you may have with the police department, issues you may have with the way we do things of that nature. And it's an honest conversation between you and the officer to find out why we do what we do and get a better understanding. Because I have police officers that definitely need some cultural diversity, no question about it. Okay, it's not no fault of their own. We hired them, whatever their backgrounds, up until the time they were hired in the Detroit Police Department, didn't afford them the cultural diversity. This particular program is designed to get that going, so you're welcome to do that. I don't know, Mr. Ribbrown, if you want to kind of touch on your experience there at that first meeting.
Well, it's definitely something that's needed. As a black man having to deal with white cops that come from places that we don't know of, it creates the opportunity for us to see them as people and for them to see us as people. So it's definitely something that's needed. I encourage you to participate in it. I don't like cops, but it gives me a
Yeah, you do.
I don't. I'm sorry, but it gives me, and I didn't let that, I let that be known at the meeting. You know, so I'm not hiding that. So it's why that type of program is good, because it's helping me to change my perspective and see them as people and not just cops. So.
And that honesty is what the officers need to hear. That's what's going to bring about a change in the police department. That's what's going to bring about a change in our relationship with the community. The next thing is, you know, we have 5 MPOs at the 5th precinct. Which is a great thing. Unfortunately, last night, Officer Herman King got involved in a car accident. He's okay, but his injury that he suffered is probably going to have him out for a few weeks. But he's okay. He actually got in an accident at the 9th precinct. Car veered over while he was on his motorcycle, took him down. But he's up and talking, and so probably Officer Eric Scott will be taking over his particular area until we can get him back home. So with that, any questions? And we'll move on. We'll get out of here. Somebody mentioned speeders. At the community relations meeting, I spoke out and introduced Officer Derek Knox, who was a recent transfer from the 9th precinct to the 5th precinct. Right now, he's assigned out to the parks detail. Very aggressive officer as it relates to writing tickets. I'm glad he works for me and I know him. And I'm glad I'm on the police department, because he will write anybody a ticket. But he does it in the form of education too. He doesn't abuse anybody. But you all who have complained about speeders, different people running stop signs, just let you know he's coming to your area soon. But it's a catch-all. So be careful that you don't get caught up in it. We had a conversation with a young lady earlier who thinks there's a variance in terms of speed.
Thank you for the warning.
There is no variance. Officers do give breaks. So if you get caught speeding, let's say you're caught speeding 50 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, they will most times knock it down to 5 miles over. One, to give you a break and show the judge that they were trying to work with you. But there is no variance. The speed limit is 55. Trust me, the speed limit is 55. Okay?
I'm warned, huh?
Yes, ma'am, you had a question?
Yes. These are grown people. And they come over to the house in front of me. They sit in the cars. People come out of the house and then they all congregate in the middle of the street. But these are grown people, so I can't say nothing. You know? And I just don't understand.
Sometimes people have to drive up on the curb just to get around.
What street is this?
University. You
University,
think
and-
that's ridiculous.
What's the address?
5969, I think.
5969?
And 5981.
Does this go on until late
They
in the evening?
barbecue in the front yard. They urinate on the side of the house.
Okay.
Yesterday, I was stopped at the stop sign at University, and cars just shoot around.
I will
You don't
promise you
even
this.
stop.
Those 2 addresses, we will pay a visit to with those particular complaints. I promise you, within the next week, they will have a visit.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yes, sir.
Can you speak on there seems to be a lot of quads, mini bikes, speeding up and down the street, driving over lots, driving through lots, making a lot of noise. Aren't they illegal in the city?
They are illegal. They are totally illegal. Our challenge is this. By the time you call us, we get to that particular area, they're gone.
Right.
What I need to know, just like I just talked about these addresses, if anyone can give me an address of where they're at, there are certain things I can do with that address.
Location.
You know,
For the park.
even to the point where if I can get someone to testify that they saw this particular individual on this particular bike, we may try to impound it and see where that goes. We want to send a message, but a lot of times, by the time we catch up to your call to get over to that area, they're gone.
I had a conversation with one person at our chief of police a couple of weeks ago talking about maybe allowing them to ride on some lots. And that seems to be confusing to folks that it's okay to do it.
Well, I don't think anyone is saying it's okay to do it. We're trying to give another way where they can, just like drag racing. Drag racing in the city limits is totally illegal. But, you know, this has been going on since I first got on the job. I've been on the job for 32 years. The idea is to give them an area where they can go to. Now you put them off, now they're not bothering you. They're able to do what they want to do in a certain area, which we think will be safer for both the community and them. So we're not saying that we're allowing that to happen. We're just trying to find another way to make it happen so you can still enjoy your neighborhood and live the way you want to live in your community.
Aren't we supposed to be doing something on the airport lot?
There's talk going with that. It hasn't been solidified, I don't think, as of yet.
It's right now a one-time event this coming Saturday the 23rd. And so it's an organized event, and it really goes above us. We had to get FAA approval first, and then it came down to us. But it's not an ongoing event as of yet. It's a one-time event. So it's around 3 o'clock this coming Saturday the 23rd.
And that is not that is a professional type of drag race.
Exactly.
It's not, you know, anybody just wants to go out and drag race.
Right.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I noticed that there is a traffic car out here giving tickets, and she's pretty busy, but she only seems to be here during like school hours. Is that possible? I didn't really see her all summer, but now that school's back, she's out here and she's chasing the people down.
Yeah, well, you know, of course, we during school time, we have, I don't like this terminology, we in the police department call it a brake patrol. You know, we just do that because in the past years, we've had some students who have been accosted, so we put out extra patrols for that. And she's not a ticket writer, but that's what she does, and what she's out
Doing a good job.
But we also have, again, Officer Knox, we have the MPOs out writing tickets, and then we also have a new motor car police officer, Maurice Alexander, who's being trained by Officer Knox to do the same thing he does. So we hear your complaints. We're trying to answer them as best we can. There are varying hours of complaints in terms of speeders. You have to also understand that these motor officers, we put them out there working for 8 hours. So that span of 8 hours is what they can cover. As the complaints come in, we move the hours based on that to cover the complaints. Okay.
Commander, will you be here for a little while yet, or are you leaving now?
Sure.
Well, I'm saying, there may be more questions, concerns,
One quick question, Commander, the police summit, what day you said that was
That's-
and what time?
It's September 23rd.
September the 23rd.
It's going to be held at the Salvation Army, right down the street from the precinct, 3800 Connor, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're interested, please contact my office so we can get you signed up. Right now, currently, we have confirmed about 20 citizens that are going to be there, and about 15 or 16 officers, which includes supervisors.
And it's a down-to-earth meeting, you all, just so you know. I mean, officers, I kind of put a little, throw in a little devilishness in it, and they were like down-to-earth, and so it's a good meeting. Just so you know.
We welcome the tough questions.
Is that the diversity meeting?
Same.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to have Betty Cook. I'd like to say a few words for us.
Thank you. Good morning, Cornerstone. Good morning. Okay, these messages, it's not just for Cornerstone, just like I spoke about 94, the home at 3411. These are things that have come into my office, but the ATV, I went to the Board of Police Commissioners meeting, I think it was 3 weeks ago, after Mr. Grimes, the young gentleman, died. I asked through the Board of Police Commissioners that a police incident report, state police report, come to my office. Reason for that? It was the state police that was involved, so I do have that right. And it was on the border. It was on the border of the first, well, what we call in the State House, the 1st District and the 2nd District. It was on number 9, not number 5 on Gratiot. But I have that right, and being an ex-sergeant. Lieutenant Shaw said, I will get that report. The ATVs on Chandler Park, there are some gentlemen who want a carve-out area over there. And I think that may work for a while. In the 3rd precinct, that's where was my last real command. On Poplar, Hancock, Grand River, and Beacon, Bucking, whatever the street is. They do that. They used to do it every Sunday. They had ATV racing, and they had the barriers and everything over there. So I told the police department, there's a template if you want to use something. As I get older, nothing old is old. It's new to some people, but it's been done. And I know that because I came from that precinct over 10 years ago. Thirdly, auto insurance. The mayor is back. And I'm not saying anything against our mayor. PIP, again, as I told him, is an insult to us in Detroit. Because unlimited medical, you may be that 1%. When we were young girls, you know, 1 out of 10 would get pregnant on the first time. So you may be that 1% that need PIP. The catastrophic fund has $21 million in it. So I'm not going to be upset if we keep our full benefits. They want a sliding scale. I don't like sliding scales. If you can get unlimited benefits from paying your auto insurance, and you know we pay the highest. I'm going to tell you, the mayor, I showed him a list. Detroit, #1 with the highest insurance throughout the United States. I always look at little old New Jersey that gave us that driver's responsibility fee, which I helped to reform. They're number 15. Detroit is $3,400. New Jersey is 15. Then I like neighboring states like Wisconsin, Indiana, and of course Ohio, right? Because they're border us. As a state legislator, I'm looking at that because that's our competition. Little old Ohio only pays $819. So, of course, red flag in my head. I'm running to the reps that are close to those borders, and we're going to team up. I'm a Democrat, but I'll work with a Lucido any day from Macomb County if he's going to help us lower our rates. That's auto insurance. I told the mayor I can do the bill on double dipping of the seniors and Medicaid because we pay twice into that auto fund. So I can do that bill. I can do credit scoring, which I did in the past. I can do educational. Those are small potatoes. He's saying a 30% across the board. If we get that, we're happy. And I'm not on the insurance committee. You're going to see many, many Detroit delegates again doing insurance. I love it when a plan comes together. You can get 500 people, but there was something done several months ago. What was the outcome? Coming from the police department, I like action. Okay, now, something good. Let's get off the hard stuff. On October 9th, at the Samaritan Center, I am doing a town hall on financial literacy. But it's scams against us, the seniors. See, I finally got my red, white, and blue card. So, of course, I'm worried about the seniors and the youth. So, the first town hall is going to be on scams against seniors, October 9th, and that's a Monday. At the Samaritan Center, it's going to start at 5:30. The next one will be for teenagers, because I wrote a bill to put financial literacy back into the high schools. First in the 9th grade, and then you get it again in the 12th grade, if you make it, because usually our kids drop out in the 9th grade. So, but they start families, so they need to know. And on a good foot, at St. Clair Monticello, tomorrow, Sunday, they're gonna have the mass mob for you Catholics. This is a group that go into historic Catholic churches, reintroduce you to your church. They take pictures, they have a beautiful mass, and any Catholics tomorrow at 11 o'clock, our favorite church, St. Clair, Montesalvo. That's the end of my report. I can talk about other issues, good jobs now, but I'll let that take place next month, because just know the word good jobs, the governor is good with his rhetoric. Good jobs now, they must pay an average wage for that area to when they create jobs. They have to create 250 to 500 to whatever. But listen to this, I voted yes on it even though I'm a community activist. I voted yes because if they don't create any jobs, they don't get any tax incentive. Duh. That's the simple line. And I'm being beat down by the People's Platform because that's where I came from, that group. But I have to look at the greater good. This is the state of Michigan, Jim. Detroit, we're gonna need Macomb, we're gonna need Oakland County, and you all know that. And we're gonna need Washtenaw to help us in the city of Detroit. It's global. Thank you. I am the state representative from District 2,
Betty will
but
be
yours
here.
too.
You'll be here after, and if any questions that linger, I'd be glad to talk about it.
Okay, and for those of you who want it, I've got a senior booklet. And it's very important information here for seniors. Any senior citizens? And you can pass it on.
About 10 years when I become a senior citizen.
I don't know, what age is senior? I don't know.
65.
Oh, okay.
And Betty, so you said.
Well, it varies, sometimes it's 55, sometimes it's 50, 62.
The,
AARP, you're 50.
You said the scams against senior.
October the
meeting,
9th,
October the 9th.
Samaritan Center in the cafeteria at 5:30.
Okay.
It should be on, no, that talks about the Christmas party. Yeah, that's a Christmas party. Now, I'm letting you know I'm gonna have a Christmas party for y'all.
okay, I was introduced to being a senior at Tim Hortons a long time when I was 52. I'm going through the drive-in, order coffee, 2 creamers, and then I get to the window, and it's less than I had normally paid. And I asked her, how come it's $1.37? He says, I gave you the senior citizens discount. So my voice must have sounded like I was, anyway, I was introduced to it. The, Ms. Azar, will you come and address us and share what you have for us?
First, I'm sorry I'm late. I have, for my attire, I have some champagne problems in Yorkshire Woods today. We had like twice the number of volunteers show up for cleanup over there, which was outstanding, but it was a mad scramble for supplies, so if anyone's got some extra energy, they're still over there. On 9/26, from 4 to 6 p.m. in the Kilpatrick room at the Samaritan Center, we're going to have Black Club Boot Camp again. We had about 8 weeks ago, went over pretty well. At that time, it was just Black Club leadership that attended. This is open to all of D4, and we'll have access to each of our city services, if you will. We'll have PD, we'll have fire, we'll have the land bank, water. DTE will be there to sign up for discount programming. Councilman Spivey's office will be there. So access to a little bit of everyone, but most importantly, and this is why I want you to let your neighbors know, we're going to have a D4 side lot sale that day. So if you're interested in purchasing a side lot next to your home, please show up. The land bank will be there and able to process your request on site that day. I know we had a side lot fair back in April, but I want to do one for D4 specifically. The renters ordinance, long-awaited renters ordinance. I know there's been a lot of talk about this, and I'm probably duplicative, aren't I? Did Councilman cover this one? No. Oh, Councilman, how are you? All right, cool. So the renters ordinance, 9/25, ad is at 10 a.m. on the calendar?
10 a.m., yes, ma'am.
Yep, 9/25, 10 a.m., the long-awaited renters ordinance, and I think Cornerstone has really been impacted by this more so than some of my other D4 communities. Councilman has worked feverishly to support this and holding our landlords accountable. And I know there's been some concern with local landlords that this might negatively impact them. I don't think that it will, and Councilman, correct me if I'm wrong, but this ordinance really was directed at some of the larger investment firms that have purchased 100, 200, 300 properties here within the city, aren't managing them responsibly, and when we're citing them, and Inspector Wright can speak to this as well, they build this into their business plan. They make their money back on these properties in the first 6 to 12 months, and so when we're throwing $500 citations at them, they eat them for lunch, they throw them in the garbage, and they move on. Okay? Our responsible landlords, we're not even getting to that $500 citation. I've been in my position 6 months now, and I can't think of one local landlord that we've put in a bad position. I actually can't think of one local landlord that we've issued citations to. It's these larger groups. So this ordinance is to protect the renters, right, to give you some renters' rights. It's long overdue. It's going to help with some of our blight, especially here in Cornerstone. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is 9:25, 10 a.m., get downtown.
And so it's gonna be at the Woodward, at your...
City Council's chambers.
Yep, City Council chambers. So show your support for Councilman Spivey. Let our other council persons know how important this is to us in the community. And Councilman, thank you for your leadership on this. I know you were very early to the table on it. Angels Night Patrol. We're going to switch it up a little bit this year, hopefully to make it easier for you all. And I will be sending this out via email to Miss Cookie to circulate to everyone. Yeah, don't worry. Same with the boot camp and instructions for 9/25. You'll get all of this to send out. We're going to have a dinner on 9/29 or on 10/29, not 9/29. We're not that proactive. 10/29. And where you can pick up your supplies and your routes. It's just too much back and forth for 3 days for people who are generous enough with your time. And to me, it just didn't make sense from a personal safety standpoint that people continue to drive back late at night to hand in a little light for the top of your car. So yeah, so you'll be able to pick up your supplies for the weekend. And if you just want to volunteer one night, that's fine. Then pick up your supplies to volunteer the one night. If you want to do all three, that's fine as well. But we'll have a dinner on 9/29. It will continue to be picked up at the Samaritan Center, 5555 Connor. So nothing changes on that front, but I just want to make it a little less labor intensive for those of you that are willing to volunteer your time, and I also want to keep you safe. And lastly, the large-scale board-ups. So Cornerstone is in phase 1 for the large-scale board-ups. What you will see is the city will come in. It's taken us about 2 weeks to do the survey. So we come in with tablets, we survey each of the vacant homes. We survey for how many doors, how many windows, how many boards we're going to need on each of those. Then we order the boards, we cut them, and we've hired the teams to come out and go ahead and board up these homes. Now, as mentioned before, it's only in communities where you have active and involved block clubs. Cornerstone certainly is a perfect example of that, so thank you. Yorkshire Woods was to be our first, it's like our pilot here on the east side. So then came the hurricanes.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why we had this big cleanup today in Yorkshire Woods. We were going to clean up while the city was boarding up. So we waited for our delivery on Monday of like 2,000 boards so we could board up Yorkshire Woods. We received 54 boards. All of our suppliers were tapped because of the hurricanes. So we've reached out to other suppliers to see if we can get some more boards here in the next couple of weeks. My point in sharing is it slowed that process. We were waiting to build the schedule for the rest of D4 based on how long it was going to take us to get through Yorkshire Woods. So I apologize. I was hoping to show up today to say, hey, we'll be here on October whatever, and it'll take us about a week. It's taking us about 7 to 10 days when we've done other neighborhoods. So stay tuned for an idea of when we'll be here, but you are in a phase 1 board up. So once we get Yorkshire Woods finished, you're in the first 6 neighborhoods where we'll be boarding. All right? Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Cornerstone has, in the last 2 years, we, as a matter of creating safety, because we see children walking by schools have been our priority, we have boarded or closed open doors and windows. We say hazardous windows are under 3 feet from the ground. So anything that's above that, we didn't board it. It's just a matter of, we've done like 183 houses we've addressed. And of course, we've had comebacks because things come off, and then Rose and I are driving around and we'll do it. And so with that, am I missing?
The voting?
Okay, the nominations can go right into here, but you should have the nomination. Was right in here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're nominating for president,
Once
secretary,
you fill it out, please, fold it up,
treasurer.
then use it and post it.
I don't know.
Of course, the current, I'm sorry,
Any nominations put in here, and our vote, we'll be voting next month. Okay, that's according to our articles. So we'll do it. At this point, if there are no further questions, no one has to address us. A number of the speakers and guest speakers will be here after. So any questions, you can address them then. Thank you. Oh, Ms. Letitia? Yes.
Updates.
Give me that look like, oh, what hold on?
No, I know.
I was kidding.
And the only reason I wanted to give these updates is because a couple of things were mentioned. So I'm Letitia Johnson. I'm the founder and chair of Mecca Development Corporation. If you're not familiar, Mecca stands for Morningside, East English Village, and Cornerstone Community Advocates. Jim and I actually need to have a conversation because the appointee that's on the board for Mecca may be moving out of state, and we'll be looking for a new Cornerstone resident to sit on the board of Mecca that represents Cornerstone Village. So I wanted to say thank you to Cookie and Jim for coming out to the annual street fair that we had at Baldock Park on August 12th, and to some residents that came to enjoy the fun. We did have a great time, so thank you all who showed up, and for Cornerstone Village for being there representing the neighborhood. It was extremely important for us because Mecca is in the process of putting together a strategic plan for our 3 communities where we really want our residents to chime in and share with us what are some of the challenges that we're having in our communities so that we can start to address those issues and do it on a global front so that all 3 of our communities are coming together and saying, okay, these are our challenges and how do we collectively resolve those issues that we're having in the community. So if you are interested in being involved in that conversation, just let me know before I leave today and I'll connect you with the team of folks that are pulling together the strategic plan. 2, I did want to give an update about the upholstery training. We did have a 12-week pilot program upholstery training for residents in the community. We have completed the training. Our residents had a wonderful time. We do have a couple of people who are going to work for some of the upholstery shops on East Warren in the neighborhood, and everybody keeps asking me, okay, what's next, what's next, what's next? So part of the program was to renovate some furniture that we purchased like from the Salvation Army, or people donated to us. So we are planning to have an auction to put monies back into the coffers so that we can do the program again, and ultimately we want to build on the program so that we are offering different types of training to residents. Initially it was focused on unemployed or underemployed residents in the community, so we want to continue to extend that to help people to learn a trade and where they can actually go out and implement that to bring some dollars into their household. So stay tuned for that. Jim, when I first walked in, you were talking about basketball courts, and several months ago, Brian at Bike Tech reached out to me in regards to the basketball court at Baldock Park. And I don't know if any of you all have seen it, and I hadn't because I don't play basketball up there. But when I went up there, the turf is actually quite curved, and it makes for a situation where somebody can easily sprain their ankle on the basketball court. So we reached out to Commissioner Tim Killeen and talked to him about the dollars that they have in their budget to help improve the parks. And he did agree to provide $75,000 to redo the basketball court up at Baldock. So yes, that's phenomenal, but what ended up happening is in conversation with the city of Detroit, the mayor also agreed to redo one of the basketball courts. So now we're actually looking at having 2 basketball courts there, and the work is due to start any day now on the first court. The next court will be implemented next year. So look to that. Brian at Bike Tech has always been extremely supportive of the basketball players there, and he will continue to be. So he's ecstatic that is going to be done because he's been telling them that he's been working on the project for a long time now. So we're excited to see that being done. And lastly, I did want to just mention that Mecca Development Corporation had a small residential developer reach out to us in regards to renovating some houses in Cornerstone. And so we're having conversations now with the Detroit Land Bank to acquire some property. Not really sure how that conversation is going to go, because I can say that we have been trying to acquire a side lot in Morningside for about 8 months now, and it still hasn't happened. So that'll be a part of the conversation as well, but we are having conversations about finally starting to dip our toe into development or doing renovation projects throughout the community. So we'll look forward to that. And lastly, I did want to mention that I also represent District 4 on the Board of Zoning Appeals. We've had a couple of Cornerstone Village projects come before us. I do always encourage residents to come out and express how you feel about any project that's coming before us, whether you're supportive or not. I used to post the information on Nextdoor. That didn't heed anything. Nobody actually turned up. And I always encourage people to, if you can't show up, send an email or write a letter in support or opposition of any project, so that we know how residents in the community feel about a project. So we recently had the dispensary on Harper near Blue Hill that came before us, and then, as Councilman Spivey mentioned, National Coney Island. National Coney Island came to expand their parking lot, and it was actually denied because they wanted to demolish a perfectly beautiful home to expand their parking lot. So just be aware of what's happening in the community, and I'll share the information with Jim and Cookie and ask for them to send it to you directly, so that you all know, if you don't check Nextdoor very often, just so that you're aware. And like I said, if you can't physically be there, I do encourage you to send an email or a letter to let us know how you feel about it.
And this is at what meeting? I'm sorry.
The Board of Zoning Appeals. Yeah, we typically meet on Tuesdays. We had some Thursday meetings in there because we had so many marijuana dispensary cases that we were hearing. But it looks like we are going back to Tuesday meetings.
Until October.
Until October. And we'll be meeting Tuesday and Thursday. But like I said, you don't have to come. Just write a letter, send an email, and that means just as much.
We're going to know how to do this, an email address to do this?
Yes. I will provide that to you.
Yeah, so that.
Yeah, so we can share.
That's it. Okay.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Carolyn. Okay. So I guess the meeting's over. Thank you so much for taking your time this Saturday morning. God bless you. Have a good day.
Please submit your